Welcome to the Gay Buddhist Forum, where teachers from all schools of Buddhism offer their perspectives on the Dharma and its application in modern times, especially for LGBTQI audiences. These talks are offered freely to the world and made possible by appreciative listeners. If you would like to support our efforts to share the Dharma with underserved audiences, please visit gaybuddhist.org. There you can donate, find a list of upcoming speakers, or enjoy many hundreds of these recorded talks dating back to 1996.
So welcome back, and I'll introduce our speaker in a minute, but at this point we usually go around and say our names, and if you'd like to either add something to your name, or that would be welcome as well, or we also kind of try to not run through it, so if we could maybe go a little slower, that'd be good. I'll start here and then we'll kind of go around. My name is Chris.
Joe.
My name is Michael.
I'm Jeff. I'm Kay.
I'm Shantanu.
I'm Leonard.
My name is Andre.
I'm Doug. I'm Glenn. I'm Peter.
My name is Brian.
My name is Andreas.
My name is Jeffrey.
Peter.
My name is Ray, brother.
My name is Clint.
My name is Harley.
My name is Jerry Jones.
I'm Jack.
I'm Rob.
Richard Azzolini.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Dave Jackson.
I'm Roy.
My name is Barry.
I'm Richard.
I'm George.
I'm Mark.
I'm Mike.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Robert.
My name is Freddie.
I am Philip.
My name is Michael.
David.
I'm Jerry.
Oh, my name is Jack. This is the first time I've been here.
I'm Paul. My name is Gary.
My name is Howard Temport.
My name is Tony.
And anyone that we missed?
Jerry.
So as you mentioned it, anyone who's here for the first time, if you could raise your hand, just we could. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Live.
So if you're here for the first time, okay. So if everyone else can notice our friend here and help him feel welcome afterwards, that'd be great. So our speaker today, who I'll just introduce here briefly, is Joe Rodriguez, who I think many of you probably know, but he's been here before. I'll introduce him quickly here. He's here today to lead a group discussion about growing older as a gay man on the Buddhist path. A few observations. He is a corporate strategist and Soto Zen student, practicing learning and opening through everyday life. So I'll just turn it over to Joe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well, I'm really happy to be here today because this topic really intrigues me. And I want to just thank Howard for inviting me to speak, as well as a number of my friends showing up to listen to this lecture. Or it's not so much a lecture, it's more of a group discussion, and just support me in this. So thank you all. The other thing I want to say, too, is I just got back from Kauai. And, Kauai is a really small, beautiful island of, I think, 71,000 people. And I had a chance to get to meet some of the members of the gay spiritual community there, which you can imagine is pretty small. But there are some people there, really heartfelt people. And one of the things that they reminded me, as much as they love that island, is just how rich and abundant we are here in the Bay Area with all the just myriad of just Buddhist groups as well as other gay spiritual groups. So I want to just convey their greetings to you. They're going to be listening to this on the web later on. When I was talking to Howard about a topic today, for today, I wanted to do something that was personally relevant to me and that also might meet the needs of the group. And one of the things that I'm having to grapple with in my own personal life, in 6 months, I'll be turning 50. Now, this just dawned on me this summer. Oh, I'm going to be turning 50. Oh, okay. How's that feel? And a lot of stuff started coming up. Now, when my other friends were turning 50, I said, oh, that's no big deal. 50 is like the new 40, all this stuff. So, but as I started thinking about what's going to be happening for me in 6 months of being on the planet for half a century, I really wanted to dig into that and see some of the challenges of that and some of the beauty of that. So you can see I have a mixture of feelings, and I wanted to share some ideas and experiences I have just about as I'm growing up and getting older and being on the spiritual path as a gay man. And I think this group has a lot of things to teach me, so I wanted to have a group discussion about this. So today's experience is going to last 45 minutes, and I'm going to talk for about 10 minutes. And then we're going to break up into small groups of 3, and we're going to talk for 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back. So I'll lead you through that, but just to give you the sense of it. I sit and practice in the Soto Zen tradition at San Francisco Zen Center. And I've been very much influenced by the founder, who's dead, but was a great Japanese teacher who came to the United States in 1959. And his name is Suzuki Roshi. And you might have heard his book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. And he created the Zen Center, which became Tassajara and Green Gulch Farm and Green's Restaurant, amongst other things. But near the end of his life, he was in a setting like this with a bunch of really young Zen students. And there was a cocky young Buddhist student in the audience. And, sometimes, how young people want to stump the teacher. So he said to the teacher, Suzuki Roshi, he said, Suzuki Roshi, could you tell me in 2 words, could you summarize Buddhism in 2 words? So Suzuki Roshi sat back, closed his eyes, and then after about 5 seconds, he just said, everything changes. And I think that lesson, and I think it's actually a beautiful lesson, and I'm glad the student asked that question, is really apt as we talk about growing older. Everything does change. And the just understanding the impermanence of life and how we're part of that. And how, we work with that lesson that everything changes. Our bodies, our minds, our connections with people. And I really think that is both the root of contentment and the sort of antidote for a lot of suffering in the world. It's where we get caught, where we don't want to change. One of the things I've been thinking about in my life, just how I'm changing as I get older. In terms of my body, I'm no longer at 7% body fat that I had like 12 years ago when I was training as a triathlete. I can't run as much. My knees hurt. And one of the things I think that's really relevant to talk about in a gay setting is when I go down to the Castro, well, I still get hit on some. I don't get hit on quite as much as I used to. And just the feelings that arise from that. I also noticed that it's harder to bring new friends into my circle of friends. Just a little more resistance. And then in terms of just my mind, I notice I resist change. I come up with elaborate explanations why I'm not on Facebook right now, even though I've had that on my to-do list for the last 3 months. 'Cause it involves learning something new and being in that place of discomfort a little bit. And we'll be talking more about this in your small groups. But I wanted to, before we get into that, I just wanted to tell you some of the observations I've had watching my friends grow older. And one of the things I realized early on I thought was a smart strategy as a young gay man was to always have some friends that were 20 years older than me, because they've had more life experience and they can help me out on some of these challenging areas. So I'm going to tell you about the two gay mentors I have in my life who are 20 years older than me. This is sort of a tale of two gay men. They are similar ages. They're 70. I've changed their names so to protect them. The privacy, anyway. They were both married, and to women, and had several children. They came of age in the early 1960s. But then they came out, and they were very active in the gay liberation movement and just gay life here in the 70s and 80s. And both are really lovely people. In addition to being lovely and just very heartfelt, they're smart and accomplished and done a lot of things to make life better for gay men and women who are coming out at the age of 18 or 13 in these cases. My first friend, his name is, I'm calling him Howard. He's very much a Virgo, very spiritual background. And one of the things and he's an artist and he's just very prolific in a lot of ways. A lovely, lovely person. But here's some of the observations I've noticed about him as he's growing older. He tells me a lot of old stories about what's happened in the past. Sometimes when I'm not asking about them, when we go to the Russian River, it tends to be like, oh, this used to happen here and this used to happen there and this and that. I notice that we tend to go to the same restaurants, and he tends to order the same things. He doesn't have a cell phone yet. It makes it difficult to communicate with him. And when I try to reach him on his answering machine, he only checks out once a day. So there's a limited window of opportunity there. I notice he tends to be interested in guys 40 and younger, and he has a lot of issues about how attractive he is. And he tends to use the same routine at the gym. Again, just observations. None of these things are issues between us. Sometimes we argue over the restaurant, but not that big a deal. So that's my friend Howard. My friend Ben is a little different. He's retired too, and he's an accomplished businessman, and he's taking a lot of classes online. He's gotten really involved in online stuff, and he's very interested in philosophical thought and Zen Buddhism, and is taking a lot of free classes over the internet. He's very curious about everything. I can't even get him to talk about the past. I mean, I have to actually prod him into, like, oh, you were head of the gay pride parade when it first started? Like, tell me about that. What was it like? Harvey Milk? What was that like? He makes it a point in his life to have lots of diversity, lots of diverse people around him. He tries to mix up his diet all the time. He's always encouraging me to not just go biking, but do other things, including weight training, just so I'll stay strong as I get older. There's a lot of flexibility in both his life and his being. He's incredibly flexible for someone who's 69 years old. And he's very healthy, isn't he? I don't think he's taking one prescription right now at the age of 69. And he dates, but he's open to a broad range of people. And I think one of the things that really characterizes him is just an openness, an open quality. That's pretty much an extension of his Buddhist practice. So these two guys, I spend, I see maybe twice a month, and I love them both dearly. But as I get older, I've been thinking, what are the qualities of each that I want to take into my own life and inspire me? And I think the thing that I'm really learning, and it really goes back to the heart of the Zen practice for me and Suzuki Roshi, is this idea of being flexible and open. And I think it takes more work as you get older. That's my observation. And I'll confirm that with some other people in the room later. And I think this idea of having fresh eyes as we go through the routines of our life. I mean, in some ways, when you get to the age of 49, almost 50, you have a lot of ingrained habits, some of which aren't always the most supportive thing in your own life. And they actually keep you away from the juice of life, because you're like, oh, I've seen that. Oh, yeah, it's like, oh, there's nothing new here. I can zone out. And one of the things that I really appreciated when Suzuki Roshi came to this country, he was 55 years old, He should be on sort of like the retirement track in the Zen system. He could have stayed in Japan. He came here, and he was around, he surrounded himself. He first came into the Japantown, and he realized the Japanese people that brought him over weren't that interested in meditating. They wanted more of a church-like experience. Here's this guy who wanted people to meditate against, when you meditate in Zen, you face a blank wall and you open your eyes. It's a very challenging and rigorous practice. And he spent the last 12 years of his life really launching Zen in America. So it was sort of the opposite of resting and sort of just going into what people thought was, he should do. But he really challenged things, and he adapted Zen to a Western way and Western practice. So that's the thing that I'm dealing with right now. It's just, as I grow older, what are some of the choices and what are some of the things I have to do to stay really present, unattached, and really as vibrant as my body ages, as and things start to fall apart in some ways. How do I stay fresh and open and really present here? So that's a little bit of the things I wanted to talk. I think I might have activated a few things here, ideas, thoughts. What I'd like everyone to do is just randomly pick 3 people and just turn your chairs or Zafu's around. And we're going to have you guys talk amongst yourselves for the next 20 minutes about your experiences in growing older and some of either the challenges or the things that you've learned that have really coped well. So if we pick groups of 3 and I'll let you guys do that, give everyone equal time. If you may want to go around where everyone has 5 minutes, or you just may want to make it a group discussion, whatever works best for you. So, and then I'll call you back in 20 minutes or so. Okay? Okay. So there's a lot of voices being heard there and a lot of energy in the room. So just like anyone who would like to share just some of the thoughts that came up for them or observations or anything. So anyone like to start?
I was happy to realize, well, aging, I'm 65, and aging, I think, in the last 5 years has really, I've really become more aware of it, partly because I've had some surgeries, and that slowed me down. But I realized that I have, I feel mildly depressed about not being able to spring back like I would if I was in my 20s. But as I talked in group about how I'm handling it, I just became, very proud of the way I'm handling it and realizing the positive and accepting the negative. There was a woman on John's Daily Show recently who had this book on the bullshit about feeling positive all the time. She had cancer, and people said, oh, that's a spiritual opportunity. And having AIDS, people said that to me, and I did everything I could to say, well, you can have AIDS and the spiritual experience. Make your health better. So I accept the fact that it really feels shitty, that I have to have another surgery next month. And, I was trying to feel positive about it. I said, that's kind of unnatural to feel, oh, whoopee! Thank you, higher power. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I know how painful it's going to be because it's a surgery I had a couple of months ago. So that's good, too, to be aware of. There are some things that are physically painful and that don't spark joy in the common understanding of the word.
Thank you. Other thoughts or experiences, observations? Yes.
In our group, there was each of us was in different decades, so it was really very nice to hear that issue or how it presented itself in those different decades. And I was lucky enough to be in the oldest decade. And one of the things that just came up for me so powerfully is that sometimes, and this has happened in this last year for me, a sort of horrific experience took place. And at some point, I had to surrender to it. It was just way more powerful than I was. And I had to give up something that I have hung on to so tenaciously in my life. And I realized that hanging on to it itself was problematic, and that was hope.
Mm.
To let go of the hope and face just exactly what was happening right at that moment.
Mm.
And not just go for the hope and say, I just hope this changes really fast. I just hope this changes really fast. And so I say, this is what's really happening.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's age-related, but I think a little bit that over time, as one experiences one's friends, and we've all had this, going through life-threatening illness, dying, and all that, there is an awareness that there are going to be things that, through willpower or through good acts or through other means we're not going to be able to avoid.
Well said. Yes.
One of the biggest hopes that I have about my life and growing older is that I could combine the qualities of both of the guys that you described, so that there would be routines that work, but that there would also be enough flexibility to challenge them at times, or to be able to still also do some new things.
Mm. Yeah, I think so. I can relate to that.
But I also find myself maybe going more into one direction than the other, and that it's always a struggle in my experience.
One of the what you said reminds me. I had this. I don't know if you know the Zen teacher Darlene Cohen. I think she's actually spoken here before. She's great. She if you ever listen to her talks on sexuality and Buddhism, awesome. And she has a lot of experience in both, which she freely admits. But as she's gotten older, one of the things, she realized that she was such a specific type of character that she had to, she's the person who always ordered in the restaurant, basically the chef had to come out and hear it directly because she wanted such an esoteric thing. And she realized that this was becoming a problem for her. And especially as she got older, she was not going to be able to order life quite in the way she wanted. So she started doing this thing that as a way to sort of counterbalance that tendency. She would go into a restaurant and she had ordered the third thing on the menu. How's that for letting go? I'm not quite ready to do that. I've made my own small thing. I try to go into Trader Joe's every week and pick out 3 new things that I haven't eaten before. So that's my way there. Yes.
Something that rose for me out of your description of your 2 mentors was I was struck by the fact that they're married and have children. I grew up with a grandfather who, not with a grandfather, but he was he was my primary figure, and he lived to be 92. And I now am a father of a 21-year-old, and I realize how grateful I am that on both ends of my life I've had mirrors from another generation in order to constantly be in relationship with. And I feel like that's really valuable in the aging process.
Yeah, and I think this issue too. One of the things that a friend of mine who couldn't be at this lecture sent me this very heartfelt letter about how I was saying he felt like there was no place in the gay community for him anymore as he gotten older. And I was like, when I read this letter, I never knew quite the despair he had around the subject. But I think it's really important that we find ways of intergenerationally being in a community together. For younger people of gay or LGBT people, as well as we have a lot of wisdom to impart to younger people, and to also be infused with fresh ideas and thinking from them too. It's a two-way thing. So we're going to have to wrap it up in now, or
That would be good.
okay. That would be good. So well, I really thank you for the time and the vulnerability and just the space to talk about this. And I think it's a really rich topic, and I invite you to just to reflect on it and to share some of these ideas with your friends and to support each other in whatever way works best for you. So thank you.
I want to also thank Paul for myself and for everyone else. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So let's see. So now I have to ask: is there a host?
Yeah. Kai reminded me today that I was host because I switched to something last month, and who reads their calendar on Sunday morning? So I went out and got some goodies, so there'll be some snacks right after this. I'll be going around with the purple Donna bowl, and people are asked to. We figured out a couple of years ago that $5 to $8, but no one's obliged to give any certain amount, so that you can give more if you like, and less if you like. There's a sign-up sheet outside. If you'd like to get the newsletter, either by hard copy or by email, these are new people. How many people are new today? Yeah, there's a sign-up sheet outside. This is for everybody, where if you want to get on the newsletter and the GBF roster. Oh, what am I forgetting?
Wash it.
Yeah. There'll be this tea out there, and just rinse out your cup. I'll make I'll fill the tub with a little soap solution, and you just wash off and then rinse from the faucet.
And lunch?
Oh yeah, some people gather for lunch. Some people gather for lunch afterwards. So if you're interested, just hang out in the far area of the outside area or outside. You'll probably pick up people saying they want to go to lunch, and it'd be nice if people were going to lunch. Look around and seeing if there's anyone else who might want to go to lunch, because some people are a little bit shy about saying, "Can I come?" So, that's all.
Thank you.
Thanks. Are there any other announcements? Okay.
Yeah, it's a reminder that our talks, including talks by Darlene Cohen on sexuality, are available on the internet at the GBF website, gaybuddhist.org.
Other announcements? Howard?
Hi, I'm Howard with the program committee. Joe, it's really a privilege to have you here today.
Thank you.
And for sharing, being vulnerable and sharing the intersection of your story with us and allowing us to grow from that experience. So I look forward to inviting you back. And the next time, take us with you to Kauai. Actually, I was struck by the story from Suzuki Roshi when the young upstart student asked him to frame Buddhism into words. I thought he was going to say, "Shut up." It's always great wisdom for me. Next week, as we gather, we will be breaking again up into small groups for open discussion, a topic that's usually offered by a facilitator that day. It's an opportunity for Sangha members really to deepen both their relationship with themselves and with each other in the Sangha. And also the program committee. There are many members of the program committee who are here today. Of course, myself and Jerry. And Michael has visited a couple times. And Rob is expressing interest. Anyway, the program committee is responsible for bringing the speakers and also defining sometimes special presentations to the Sangha. So we are the intersection between you and our presenters. So a couple things. First of all, we're looking for one more person to join the program committee and even consider the role that I'm fulfilling now, which is speaker coordinator, a really wonderful, exciting, fun, and not that laborious task. And so if you're feeling somewhat inspired or interested or feel some kind of magnetism towards this role, we're looking for one more person to join the committee. And you can talk to any of us if you have that source of inspiration. And it's really an important, significant, and wonderful part of the life of the Sangha.
Great, thank you. Other announcements? Going once, twice? Okay. So let's stand and Joe's speaking of growing old.
So this idea that I'm going to share with you is from Jack Kornfield at Spirit Rock. So at the end of your life, these are the things that matter most. How fully did you live? How well did you love? And how much did you learn to let go?
I have a request. If someone could cut the apples, then I could go around the top of it.
Thank you for listening to the Gay Buddhist Forum. If you would like to hear several new talks per month and be notified of upcoming speakers so you can participate live, please subscribe to this podcast, like us on Facebook, and join our mailing list by visiting gaybuddhist.org.